Moving to Colombia or spending long periods of time here is an exciting decision. Great weather, great food, great lifestyle. But there's one topic you cannot ignore: taxes. This 2026 tax guide is designed for foreigners who live, invest, or work from Colombia and want to understand their tax obligations clearly, without legal jargon or confusion. In this video, we'll answer the most important questions. When are you considered a tax resident in Colombia? Who has to file taxes in 2026? Is filing the same as Spain? What happens with assets abroad? How does the wealth tax work? And what changes if you have a business or income in Colombia? Let's break it down step by step. First, are you a tax resident in Colombia? This is the most important concept to understand. Tax residency in Colombia does not depend on your visa, your nationality, or whether you have a Colombian ID. It depends only on time spent in the country. The general rule is that you are considered a tax resident in Colombia if you spend 183 days or more in Colombia within any 365-day period. Key details: the days do not have to be consecutive. The count can cross 2 calendar years. Days of entry and exit do count. Alright, so we'll be looking at some practical examples. In the example number 1, we'll take 183 continuous days within a single 365-day period, February to August in the same tax year. So let's say someone arrives in Colombia on February 1st, 2025 and stays every single day until August 2nd, 2025. This is a continuous stay of exactly 183 days, all within a single 365-day window that begins and ends between February 2025 and February 2026. Even though they left in August, the 183-day threshold was reached early in that year. This person is considered a tax resident for 2025 because they completed 183 consecutive days in the country within that calendar year. So for example number 2, we'll take 183 continuous days across 2 calendar years, October 2025 to April 2026. Now, imagine someone arrives in Colombia on October 1st, 2025 and stays without leaving until April 1st, 2026. That's a continuous period of 183 days, but the stay is split across 2 calendar years, part in 2025 and part in 2026. Still, the 365-day rule applies. This person becomes a tax resident for 2026 because the 183-day count is completed within a 365-day period that ends in 2026. Example number 3. So here we'll be taking 183 non-consecutive days across 2 calendar years that are not continuous. So let's say someone enters and exits Colombia multiple times. In October 2025, they stay 20 days. In December 2025, they stay 25 days. In February 2026, this person would stay 28 days. In April 2026, the person would stay 30 days. In June 2026, the person would stay 31 days. In July 2026, the person would stay 30 days, and then in August 2026, the person would be staying 20 days. So the total would be 184 days in Colombia between October 2025 and August 2026. The days are not continuous, but they add up within a 365-day window. This person is also a tax resident for 2026 because even though the stays were intermittent, they still exceeded the 183 days within one rolling year. Key takeaway: in all cases, if you become a tax resident for a given year, you must file your Colombian tax return the following year. So, tax resident in 2025, file in 2026. Tax resident in 2026, file in 2027. Second, when are you required to file taxes in 2026? Being a tax resident does not automatically mean you will pay taxes, but it may mean you're required to file. According to the Colombian Tax Authority, you must file the tax return in 2026 for tax year 2025 if you meet at least one of these conditions: updated thresholds. You must file if you have total worldwide assets equal to or above 224,095,500 Colombian pesos. This includes assets inside or outside Colombia. Gross annual income equal to or above 69,718,600 Colombian pesos. Salary, pensions, freelance, remote income, etc. Credit card consumption equal to or above 69,718,600 Colombian pesos. Total purchases or expenses above that same amount. Bank transactions in Colombia exceeding that amount. Important. Meeting just one of these conditions triggers the obligation to file. Third, what if you're not a tax resident? If you do not reach the 183 days, you're considered a non-resident for tax purposes. In that case, you only pay taxes on Colombian source income. You only report assets located in Colombia. Example, if you rent out an apartment in Medellin, but your main income is from abroad, you only declare the rental income. Fourth, filing is not the same as paying. This is one of the most common misunderstandings. You can be required to file a tax return and still pay zero taxes. Have a tax credit, offset taxes paid abroad. This happens when taxes were already withheld. Double taxation treaties apply. Income falls within exempt ranges. Good tax planning doesn't mean avoiding taxes. It means complying correctly and efficiently. Fifth, tax calendar 2026. Individuals. If you're required to file taxes, deadlines matter. In Colombia, filing and payment deadlines depend on the last two digits of your tax ID number. For tax year 2025, filing and payment take place between August and October 2026. Dates are fixed. No individual extensions. Missing your deadline leads to penalties, accumulated interest, and unnecessary problems. Always identify your exact date in advance. Sixth, foreign assets and wealth tax. Foreign assets report. If you're a tax resident and own assets abroad, such as bank accounts, investments, real estate, you must file an informative report. This does not automatically mean you pay taxes, but the report is mandatory. Wealth tax in 2026. Wealth tax applies if your net worth equals or exceeds 40,000 UVT, approximately 1,990 Colombian million pesos, around 497 US dollars. It applies to Colombian tax residents, foreigners with significant assets in Colombia. 7. What if you have a business or active income in Colombia? If you have a company, a permanent establishment, a store or office, or recurrent economic activity, you may have additional obligations, even if you're not a tax resident. These can include personal tax filings, corporate tax compliance, withholding taxes, VAT or local taxes, depending on activity. From 2025 onward, authorities increased controls on withholding agents' bank information, cross-checks with migration records. Early planning is critical. Conclusion. Colombia is not an impossible country when it comes to taxes, but it does require order and strategy. Most tax problems come from lack of information, not bad intention. Understanding your tax residency, your thresholds, and your reporting obligations allows you to live, invest, and work in Colombia with a peace of mind and no surprises. At Nexo Legal, we help foreigners structure their tax situation correctly in Colombia, from residency analysis to full compliance and planning. If you're unsure about your status or obligations, talk to us before deadlines arrive. Clear, legal, no surprises.